Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Hannah, and on my channel I do anti-MLM videos like this one, and I also have a clothing reselling business on the Poshmark app, and so I post a lot of like Poshmark and reselling tips and tricks videos as well. If either of those topics are of interest to you, please make sure to subscribe. I post new videos every single week. Lately I've been doing Poshmark videos on Saturdays and uploading anti-MLM videos on Sundays. This week is a little bit different. I have a more than normal amount of time on my hands this week, and so I'm trying to be productive with that time. Every day this week, Monday through Friday, I am uploading a new anti-MLM video to really kind of bulk up that content on my channel and get a really bingeable anti-MLM playlist going. Today's video is another MLM top fails, but unlike the ones that I've been doing previously where it's like a compilation of lots of smaller clips, this one is actually a very long team call. It's a team call hosted by one of the top earners in Monat. This was a Zoom team call training that she was doing, so she had Zoom open in front of her, and then off to the side she had her Instagram live running. So I have the Instagram live footage. The title of the Instagram live was Instant Gratification and Why It's Killing Your Chance to Be Successful. And just a reminder before we get into it, I always make it a personal goal of mine to focus only on the things that the people in these videos are saying, not focusing on the individual people themselves. The purpose of this type of video is to react and comment on the things that they are saying and showing you and debunking for you how it is completely misleading, very manipulative, and how the purpose of all of this is to recruit you into the MLM, to keep you in the MLM so that the people in her position at the top of the company can continue making all of the money. This is a pretty long call we have to get through, so I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna jump right in.
Let's go ahead and get started. Today we are going to be talking about instant gratification and why I believe, along with all the experts out there, it is one of the main reasons people do not succeed in network marketing and or being an entrepreneur, okay? So what is instant gratification? It is the desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment without delay or deferment. Basically, it's when you want it and you want it now, okay? And we are all victims to this at one point or another. It is a very bad trait. It will hold you back in work, relationships, life, and everything you do, but we can't help it. Okay, and we can't help it because of the society we live in. I want you guys to think back years ago. I don't even qualify for this time frame, but like when we needed an encyclopedia to find out information. Okay, you wanted to know how far the sun was from the moon. You couldn't just pick up Siri and ask her, hey Siri, how far is the sun from the moon? You had to go to a library, get an encyclopedia, look it up, time.
Here's what I found from universetoday.com.
Siri answered me. You had to go through a process, a journey. It took time to get the answer. Now we have everything at our fingertips to get the weather. Usually we have to watch the weather channel and wait for the weatherman to come up. Now you just go your weather app and you have everything, okay? Instacart, Uber Eats, Amazon Prime, Hotel Tonight. We want it, we get it. So we've been spoiled, and in a way it's good for some things, but in a way it's bad because it's changed the way we view business. It's changed the way we view success, and it is hurting us. The one thing I want you guys to get in your mind is that the world doesn't owe you anything. The world owes you absolutely nothing. And when I say the world, I'm saying your kids, your parents, your spouses, your uplines if you're network marketing, your boss, your coworkers. No one owes you anything. So get over that. On the contrary, we owe the world everything. The world takes the carbon dioxide from our lungs, it goes through the trees, it comes back as oxygen, and it keeps us alive. So let's humble ourselves. Let's remember that we are just a little person in this world that needs to continue to learn, to make a change, to explore, and to try new things. And let's remember that the world doesn't owe you anything. Okay, let's release those expectations.
Okay, so I kind of agree that I feel like the world doesn't owe you anything, right? I believe that if there's something in your life that you want, you need to go out there, you need to work for it. You're gonna need to set goals, put in the time, put in the effort, all that jazz. However, you have to consider all of this in the context of this call. The people on this call have most likely been recruited on the promise that this is so easy. You can work from your phone, work from anywhere. It's gonna bring you time freedom. You can earn a Cadillac one day and you can make $1 million. People are gonna flock to buy this revolutionary shampoo and you're going to get to retire by 40. Okay, I'm obviously exaggerating some of those claims, but in this world that we live in of like social media marketing and influencing, MLM companies, and I feel especially Monat, prey on young people's desires and dreams to become rich and famous and make all this money from their social media and from their phones. So there's always just this undertone of like, join this company and you will have all of these things. So just imagine you sign up for this business opportunity thinking that it's going to bring you the life of your dreams, and now you're on a team call with your upline and she's telling you that this business owes you nothing and that you're going to have to work harder than you have ever worked if you want to see any money out of this, which is totally true. Like, you are going to have to work so hard just to make your money back and see a return on investment. And she's being super upfront about that. Like, it is hard to make money in this business. She's not lying. It's just really interesting how this narrative always switches. Like, when you're in that position of being recruited into the company, it's all glitz and glamour and fame and success and wealth. But then once you're in the company, it totally flips. And now it's like this grind culture and this hustle culture, and you have to work 24/7 if you're gonna make it to the top. So just keep that tone in mind as we continue to watch the rest of this team call.
Right now, being an entrepreneur is a hot topic. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to be a business owner. And a couple of years ago, a lot of years ago, people wanted to be firefighters, astronauts, lawyers. So like, it goes in phases. And I heard this from my podcast. I'm not making this up. Now the hot thing is an entrepreneur. Everyone wants an entrepreneur. It wants to be an entrepreneur because they want to retire by 40, because they want to like have all this quick money. But guys, the reality is that entrepreneurship is hard. It is hard AF. And that is why very, very few of us actually succeed being entrepreneurs. And why so many of others fail. Because they quit. Because it's hard. Because they don't have what it takes. Because they want it quick. So when someone says they want to be an entrepreneur, the first thing you should ask them, and you should ask this to yourself, are you willing to work really, really hard for 6 months, for 9 months, for a year, and not make one single dollar? And the reality is that 99.99% of you will say no, because you want the instant results. You'd rather get $300 today than $1 million in a year or 5 years. You'd rather get a $500 paycheck at the end of the month than have complete time and financial freedom in 5 years. So do you really want to be an entrepreneur, or are you following this hot trend of, I want to retire by 40? Entrepreneurs don't retire by 40. Entrepreneurs do not retire. We work 24/7 because we're obsessed with what we do. Okay? So get that right and get, your priorities straight, your mindset straight. Do you really want to be an entrepreneur? And are you willing to do what it takes?
Hold up. If you are in Monat, you are not an entrepreneur. According to Investopedia, an entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risks and enjoying most of the rewards. The process of setting up a business is known as entrepreneurship. The entrepreneur is commonly seen as an innovator, a source of new ideas, goods, services, and business or procedures. If you signed up to sell Monat, you did not create a new business. You joined an existing business. If you signed up to sell Monat, you did not create a new idea, good, or service. Okay, you signed up to sell somebody else's shampoo. MLM reps are not entrepreneurs. The correct term is independent contractor, which means you, quote, perform work for or provide services to another entity, Monat, as a non-employee. And the entity that uses the services of the independent contractor is not required to provide them with employment benefits such as health insurance or employer-sponsored retirement accounts. Meaning that Monat can use you as a salesperson for their products and they don't guarantee you anything. You can do that for years and years and years and not make a dime, and that is still legal. Monat's policies and procedures clearly state that market partners are independent contractors and are not purchasers of a franchise or business opportunity. A market partner shall not be treated as an employee for his or her services or for federal or state tax purposes. MLM reps are unpaid salespeople and nothing more, especially not entrepreneurs. And it's funny that she's telling you to ask yourself if you are willing to work up to a year for no pay, because that is the unfortunate reality for most people that join Monat.
For those of you in network marketing, you guys are the main problem where a lot of people don't succeed, and it's because you give false expectations to them. You oversell the opportunity. You say, join my team today and you can make $500 tomorrow. join my team today and you can make $10,000 the first month. That's a lie. It's doable, it's possible, but it's not common. Okay? So you guys shouldn't be advertising it like that. The way I advertise my business is, it is hard. I tell all my potentials, you need to put in the work. You need to make sacrifices. You're going to get rejected. You're going to want to quit. It is a struggle, but the end result is so worth it. But I tell them up front, are you ready to work? Are you willing to work? Because if you want the easy way out, this is not it. Okay? So what is the key to success? I mean, there is no like exact answer to that. But one of the things I heard, which I loved, is one of the keys to success is working your butt off, realizing that you may not make it. Okay? Let that sink in. Working your butt off, realizing that you may not make it. That's called taking risks. That's called trying new things. A lot of you guys are only willing to try something if you have a guaranteed at the end, a guaranteed result, a guaranteed paycheck, a guaranteed, no. The only thing you have guaranteed is lessons and experience. And that is worth more than any paycheck out there. Okay? If I try a business for 9 months and I don't make any money, I don't succeed, but I gained experience, I gained knowledge, I gained personal growth, that's more than anything I could have ever asked for. But the problem is you guys don't view it like that. If you don't have a tangible reward at the end, you are not willing to do it. So work your butt off and realize you may not make it. And you're still going to be gaining something from it.
Let's be real with ourselves here that people are not joining MLMs for knowledge and growth and personal development. No, they are joining to make money. And I actually am glad that she acknowledged that you should not be sugarcoating the opportunity. If you're trying to recruit somebody, you need to be honest and tell them that it is difficult and it is hard work and that it's important not to mislead people. But in the end, people are still joining for the dream, right? People don't join MLMs when they're happy, when they're fulfilled, when they're making a ton of money. No, people join MLMs if they are in a financially or emotionally vulnerable place in their lives and they are seeking a way out of that situation. And another problematic thing that she's saying is that people should actually be expecting to work their butts off for no reward and that they should just be okay with that because in the end you gained experience. It's like she's shaming these people for wanting to be compensated for the time and energy that they're putting into something that is supposed to be their job. Yeah, what is wrong with that? I would argue that most people want to be paid for the hours that they work. But Monat and all other MLMs for that matter, they don't guarantee that for anybody. You could potentially be working full time to try and sell these products and not be paid anything.
Also, you need to be selfless. You need to put as much value into the world as you can. You need to have a mentality of service. I no longer want you guys to say, I want to make $1 million. We're going to change that. And instead, you're going to say, I want to help, impact, and inspire 1 million people. And if every single person I help, impact, or inspire gives me just $1, then I'll be a millionaire. Okay? You touch 1 million lives and they pay you $1, which you're like, really? You're only going to pay me $1? But if you help 1 million people, you made $1 million. Okay? So stop thinking about the dollar signs and start thinking about the impact and the change. Selflessness will take you very far in business.
I'm sorry, but isn't this supposed to be a job? These people are here to make money, not to touch 1 million lives. And touching 1 million lives or helping 1 million people, that doesn't make you a millionaire. That's not how that works. Yeah, be kind to one another. Put good out into the world. I am all for that. But what does this have to do with how to make money in the business?
You need to realize that it's going to take time. Okay, in another podcast I heard when I was preparing for this call, they said you need to be willing to work for 7 years of your life without getting results. Most businesses take 3 to 5 years to even make your money back. And I'm talking about businesses that you need to invest a lot of money in. I don't know how many business owners we have on here that maybe are not necessarily in network marketing, but I used to be a business owner. I used to have a wedding planning company. I invested about $12,000. It took me the first 6 months, I was doing weddings for free to get my name out there. And then my next 6 months, I was doing weddings for very cheap because I was new. So it took me, I would say, a year or more, a year and a half to make that 12K back and then start making an income. I recently opened an online boutique, not because I needed the money, because if I did this for money, I would be starving. I did it as a passion project. I did it because I have the finances to do it. And guys, it's a lot of investment into it. I don't think I'm probably breaking even right now, or maybe I still haven't made everything I've invested back. You need to realize that it's going to take time. If all these amazing people that we look up to would have realized when their first try failed or when they got rejected, we wouldn't have all these inspirations and powerful people to look up to. And one of my favorites is Walt Disney. How he got turned down because he wasn't creative, really? Joke is on whoever told him that. Because look at what he has left behind.
She's really out here comparing herself to Walt Disney. That's bold. Again, joining Monat does not mean that you started your own business. And in the example that she's giving about Walt Disney and building his company from the ground up, yeah, that takes a lot of time. You have to network and build a reputation and form a name for yourself, and that takes a lot of time and resources to make that happen. Monat is not the same way. In fact, they boast that their products are revolutionary and they're so incredible and people know our name and they can't wait to get their hands on our amazing product. They're pitching it like, come and join this company where you're gonna sell a product that everybody knows and loves. The product is given to you. The pricing is set for you. The packaging and the branding is designed for you. The website is created for you. The product is shipped for you. Nothing about that warrants the experience of having to work 7 years for free. That is unacceptable. In Monat, you work for free not because you're busy developing a product and developing a brand. You work for free because it is really, really hard to sell $50 shampoo and to get people to join a pyramid scheme.
And then lastly, don't expect anything out of it and see what is going to come from it, okay? A lot of the times we go into new experiences, new jobs, new businesses with so many expectations. And what I always say is expectations are going to make you feel like shit. Because when it doesn't happen, you're going to get depressed, you're going to feel like a failure, you're going to feel like you're not good at this, like you're not good enough. So go into it without expecting anything and seeing what you can come out of it. Instant gratification will make you complacent and will make you lazy. And if you only want the result, it will be shallow. If you understand that this is a process and you're building energy, you start to enjoy the process. Okay? I want to go over with you guys 3 signs that your desire for instant gratification is destroying your odds of success. Number 1, I already said it when I started the call. You think the world owes you something. And this a part of it comes from our parents. And I'm a mom and a lot of you are probably parents. We need to be careful what we tell our kids. Because we tell our kids, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. If you dream it, you can achieve it. The world is yours. And yes, that's true if you work for it. Parents, when we tell that to our kids, we need to add that last part. If you work for it, you're not entitled to anything. You're not going to get anything for free because you have a pretty face or because you come from a wealthy family. Yes, you can conquer the world. Yes, everything you dream you can achieve if you work for it. So number 1 is you think the world owes you something. Number 2 is you believe you have all the answers. And I already said this at the beginning. Humble yourselves. We are nobodies. We are people that are learning and getting better every day. You do not have all the answers. No one has all the answers. Only God and the universe, whatever you believe in. And none of us are close to that. So stop thinking you know it all. Stop thinking you're good enough. You do not have all the answers and you should be learning something new every single day. And lastly, you refuse to try things you are not good at. Why? Because you're scared of failing. Because you don't want to be embarrassed. Because you don't want others to be like, oh, she doesn't know how to do it. But something we fail to remember is that no expert was born an expert. Okay? No great person, the best person at XYZ was not born the best person at XYZ. They had to train, they had to learn, they had to fail, they had to embarrass themselves. They had to start over at some point. Okay? So don't refuse to try new things because you're scared. Short-term gratification will get in the way of your long-term goals. Okay? And I want you to remember that losses are lessons. Okay? Losses are lessons. Failures are lessons. And you need to shift the way you look at failure and at losses. Instead of being upset about them, be grateful for them. You're learning something new. You hopefully won't make the same mistake twice. The journey and the struggle is what makes victory that much sweeter. When people ask me about my journey with my network marketing company, and I had a pretty good journey. I grew really fast. I worked my butt off, but I said the times I remember the most were the times where I struggled the most. And when I get my big recognition, when I get my big paychecks, when I get all the praise, I don't think of the recognition, the money, the praise. I think of the struggles, the tears, when my team fell apart and I had to start over, when I literally would go hours and almost days without eating because I was so stressed. The struggles is what makes it all worth it. There is beauty in the struggles. We experience personal growth when we work hard to achieve, when we work harder to achieve that satisfaction. And an example I like is like when we go to school, right? Or when you need an answer to something and you ask someone for the answer versus you looking for the answer. Asking for the answer or cheating, instant gratification. You get it right away, done. But you probably won't remember it. Versus if you go and you look for it and you find the answer yourself, you have more chances of remembering it. Okay, so it takes a little bit longer. It takes a little bit more energy and work, but it's yours for the long run. You're not just going to forget it when you finish that test.
It feels like the message that she's sending is that you need to fail. You need to feel stressed to the point of not eating. You need to be so incredibly overwhelmed if you're gonna be successful in Monat. How are these girls not running in the opposite direction? And did you notice how she said, my journey was a good one. I grew really fast and I received all this recognition and praise and awards and bonuses. But I always think about that time when my team fell apart and I had to start over. This just highlights the house of cards that multi-level marketing is. It shows us that it is really easy for people who join early to build massive teams and to rise in the ranks and be very successful very quickly. But it also shows us how easily all of that can be stripped away when people start leaving the business and the pyramid crumbles. And here we come full circle all the way back around to the motive behind this entire call in the first place. Leaders of these big teams and these big MLM companies, they host these kind of like motivational self-help team calls regularly so that they can continually brainwash all the people in the downline. In this case, this entire call is all about sticking it out when things feel hard, because maybe some point in the future things might not feel so hard. The leaders of these calls have a financial incentive for you to stay in the company because their paycheck is reliant upon that. Of course she wants you to stick it out when it gets hard, okay? She's trying to avoid another situation where people leave her team and her pyramid crumbles and she has to start from ground zero. That is why this team call even exists. That is why she's saying, oh, you just need to push through and it gets really tough. Eventually it'll get better, maybe. Okay, and I'm actually gonna cut out the next 7 minutes of this call. It's just very repetitive, but what she's talking through are 8 things that you can do when you feel like giving up. And it's all really generic things like remember why you started and surround yourself with positive people. I'm just not gonna show it because it'll bore you to death, but we are gonna jump in when she talks about number 8 in this list of things to do when you feel like giving up, because I'm getting like real culty vibes from it.
And number 8, have motivational reminders everywhere. So I shared this on a team call I did for my girls yesterday. When I was going for the biggest rank in my company, like the last one, my apartment, because yes, I used to live in a little apartment, looked like a freaking like circus. I had posted everywhere, in every wall, SED, in my fridge, you can do this, your volume, like reminding me in my face. Everywhere I looked, I was reminded of my goal. I was reminded that I can do it. I was reminded to get to work. And you can tie this into the 6 steps to achieve any goal that Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, Think and Grow Rich. Okay, if you don't know it, read it. He gives 6 super simple steps, okay, that if I were to give them to you right now, you guys would be like, really, Joe? But it works if you do it every single day. So look into it and do those 6 steps every single day along with your motivational reminders everywhere, and you're going to see the shift. You're going to see the change. Why do you guys think that a lot of the time they say that millionaires or entrepreneurs or network marketers were brainwashed? Because we are. We have brainwashed ourselves to believe in ourselves. We have brainwashed ourselves to believe that we deserve the world if we work for it.
First of all, millionaires, entrepreneurs, and network marketers should not be listed in succession like that. They should not be compared to one another. They are not the same. Second of all, people outside of network marketing think that you're brainwashed because all you can seem to talk about, think about, post about is how devoted you are to a company that takes everything and guarantees you nothing. That's why people think you're brainwashed.
The book was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And you know how this brainwashing happens? By reading, by podcasts, by reminders, and by speaking it out loud. Affirmations, speaking your goals out loud. The sixth step in the book that I'm talking about, it's you have to come up with your own mission statement and you read it every morning and every night out loud until you believe it. At first, when I started doing this, I thought it was weird. I'm like, I'm literally talking to myself. What a joke. And now I love it. And now I'm training my 3-year-old to say affirmations every morning until he believes it. And now I start by the first one. I'm like, I'm blessed. And he goes, I'm happy. I'm grateful. Like, speak it out loud and you will be brainwashed too. And everyone in this world is brainwashed. So I'd rather be brainwashed for something positive than for something negative. I'd rather be brainwashed to believe that I can accomplish anything than to be brainwashed that I am where I am and this is the life I was served and there's nothing I can do about it. So pick your brainwash, but go wash your brain. Never give up on something you really want, guys. It's so difficult to wait, but it's even more difficult to regret.
Where on earth is she getting all of these phrases and taglines? It's difficult to wait, but more difficult to regret. Well, would you look at that? We've got some Rachel Hollis level plagiarism in here.
Okay, so when you feel like giving up because you are not getting those instant results, and you're like, it's so hard to wait, I'm so annoyed it's taking so long. You know what's harder, more annoying? Regretting giving up, regretting not getting to where you wanted to get. The expert at something was once a beginner.
The expert of something was once a beginner. Oh man, this really is too good. What this tells me is that you do not need to join Monat and you do not need to be on a team call with one of the top earners in the company to consume a whole bunch of self-help platitudes. It really just looks like you need a Pinterest account.
A beginner that was willing to learn. A beginner that was willing to fail and make mistakes. A beginner that was willing to start over and put his or her pride aside. Do not give up what you want most in life for what you want right now. Do not give up your $1 million dream for your $500 paycheck this week. I know, struggles, sacrifices. Maybe you're gonna struggle to get food this week, but it doesn't mean quit this network marketing job or quit your entrepreneur business to go get a part-time because I just need money right now. There's other ways to figure it out. Do not give up what you want most in life for what you think you need right now. Instant success is a total myth. Okay, when you guys see overnight success, when you guys see people's Instagrams, people's stories, like, we're just sharing a highlight reel. We're sharing the wins. We are not sharing the struggles, the tears, the cries. Like, yeah, this overnight success took me 3 years to build. And guess what? I'm still building it. Because if it was meant to be easy, everyone would do it. Banish your desire for instant gratification because it will get you nowhere. Okay, and I'll leave you guys with this thought, which I also got from the podcast. He was saying, obviously, entrepreneurship takes time, and entrepreneurship is like a game. Okay, you're like addicted to it. Ask yourself, do you have time to play this game? And do you have the passion to do it? And then he mentioned 70-year-old billionaires. We know so many 70-year-old billionaires that are still working. Why? Because they love it. This billionaire didn't retire at 40, how most of you think you're going to retire just by joining network marketing or becoming an entrepreneur. Think of how many 70-year-old billionaires are out there working harder than you. A lot of them. Okay?
That's pretty much the end of the call. She says a couple other things to just like wrap it up at the end. But final thoughts. This whole call is about how people will quit when they're not seeing immediate results out of their multi-level marketing company. But I want to point out how this is a very privileged view. People might be quitting because they're not making any money and they can't afford to not be making any money and they have no other choice. They have expended as much time and money and energy into this as they can handle, and now it's time to go and find a real job. Now it's time to go and actually be compensated for that time and for that hard work. This narrative that you just need to stick it out and you need to expect to work for free for months and years, that is privileged. Most people do not have that choice. Most people do not have the ability to remain unemployed for months and years until one day when they may or may not see a return on their investment. This whole call just seems really out of touch, and like she's not fully understanding that people aren't just quitting because they think it's too hard. It's that they're quitting because they're not making any money and they can't afford to be working for free, which unfortunately is a reality for most people that join multi-level marketing companies. And with that, you guys, that's all I have for this top fails video. I hope you enjoyed this team call. I would love to hear your own thoughts in the comments down below. Please subscribe for more anti-MLM content if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in my next one real soon.